Good afternoon, everybody. That is the closing bell. It's Thursday, November 8th, 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I am Jonathan van Clute for Stock Navigators, and thank you for being here. Give us a subscribe if you like these videos, and be sure to click that little alarm bell if you'd like to be notified when we're going live. And also leave us feedback, comments, whatever you want to see more of or see done differently. Let us know. We're here to do these for you. So today, not a big range day. A lot of sideways today, but it was a good potential scalping day. There was definitely plenty of intraday movement, but on the whole, didn't really do a whole heck of a lot. We did pull away from this sell zone here just a bit. Whoops, I lost my pen. Hang on here. There we go. So we pulled away from this sell zone a little bit, but not a whole lot. Didn't really do much. So maybe this is the beginnings of that retracement I talked about this morning, and we'll have to just see how tomorrow plays out going into the weekend. But at the moment, anyway, there's no obvious signs that it's ready to jump this sell zone and head higher. So at the moment, anyway, I am expecting more of a continued pullback. But it's also entirely possible that it goes sideways for a while and then eventually tries to break up. So we just have to keep a close eye on that. But I would not be wanting to get super bullish at these levels right now. We just don't have any real confirmed momentum or signal to the upside. So just a good time to be able to trade intraday. Good time to be able to scalp, grab a little bite here and there wherever you can, and occasionally you catch a big run. But for the most part, just take small bites and be happy with those, and be safe. So, not a whole heck of a lot else to say about the ES. I mean, the Navigator on the 60 is trending downwards, but it's got a ways to go before it crosses that zero line. So, if it establishes a holding pattern and kind of bottoms out, then maybe it could go higher. Right this moment, anyway, after being so completely overbought back here, it has had to cool off a little bit, and it's done that by pretty much just kind of moving sideways in this little relatively narrow range here. Longer term daily chart, of course, Navigator is still moving upwards, but it also has a little ways to go before it crosses the zero line. So, kind of both time frames, 60 and daily, there's no real super clear sign of who's going to win right now. The Bulls and Bears are definitely battling it out. So, bullishness, that's what we're looking for. We need to leapfrog that sell zone. And bearishness, we're just pretty much looking for any kind of continued follow through to the downside. And if we see that, then we know we're going to start looking for some of these retracement levels. Let's take a look at crude oil. Oh, come on. Yeah, my mouse is not working. There we go. So crude did break lower. So it has actually broken through this buy zone here and has headed lower and is continuing to head lower. So right this moment, the bears have seized control and pushed crude lower. Now Navigator is heading down, but we have magenta histogram. So right this moment, anyway, it's getting pretty oversold. It's definitely a bit of exhaustion going on there. This move probably is going to need to go sideways to work some of that off. Maybe it'll just bounce around in this box, maybe the lower range, or maybe the entire box, because it's got a lot of distance there between the upper bound of the box and the lower bound. But whatever it does, it's going to probably need to go sideways for a bit. And that's kind of the pattern we've been seeing anyway. We see during the regular session, we get the reasonable movement, and then a lot of sideways, and then the European session kicks in, and then it starts to move again. So anyway, we can probably expect going into the evening that it will just kind of repeat that pattern. That tends to be what crude has been doing. So right this moment, anyway, bears have seized control. So that is the direction you probably want to be looking to get set up for. Next buy zone to test is down here. So assuming that we don't get just a sudden reversal to the upside tomorrow or tonight, I suppose, technically, then you can expect to see probably continued momentum to the downside to test this zone here. So that's what you're going to want to be looking for. Near-term target, that would be a very reasonable distance to go for. So, and then the shorter term, of course, it's got to really turn around, reverse a course, and start taking out these lower highs on the downtrend. Gold didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Kind of a small range day for what gold has been doing lately, but fairly sideways. I mean, you can see it pretty clearly here. It spent a bulk of the day inside the box, and when it would poke below, the buyers would just push it right back up again. So pretty much just a sideways day in gold. That being said, Navigator on the short term on the 60 is kind of trending upwards. So, maybe there's a little bit of a bullish sentiment trying to creep in. But right now, the Bears still in control until we get up over this zero line on the Navigator. Then the Bears are still running the show. Navigator on the daily is still holding above the zero line and just pretty much going sideways. It's not really trending down or anything. It's just kind of drifting sideways. Technically, it is ever so slightly below its blue moving average. And you can see that by the red dots. But it's not just clearly drifting down or anything. It's just sort of drifting slightly down, but mostly sideways. So gold just trapped right in the middle of this channel right now. It's not real obvious which direction you want to play it. So this is a tricky market unless you're an intraday scalper, in which case, much like with the ES, just grab little bites here and there, grab what you can, and keep tight stops because lately the volatility can come out of nowhere and be very fast and can really catch you by surprise if you aren't prepared for it. So just be safe and use sensible stops and be ready to change your opinion. If you think you're a bull and the bears show clearly that they are in control, then get with the bears, and vice versa. Just be ready to change as necessary. Crypto markets, Bitcoin, not a whole heck of a lot today. Did have a little bit of a downward move, but it then has gone sideways, and we've got very exhausted conditions going on. So Bitcoin probably going to head sideways for a bit. Repeat its pattern of a move and then a bunch of sideways, and then a move and then sideways. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that same thing. So short term, I'm basically just stuck in this channel here. And not really much else to say about that. Technically, there is a little rising trend line here as well from back here. And that's something. It does seem to be holding as support, so that could be helping to push Bitcoin higher. But on the daily, it's got a long ways to go before there's anything resembling a real genuine recovery. Right now, it's pretty much all just sideways. I mean, you can see these box levels here have not changed in quite some time, and it's just day after day after day after day of bouncing around inside this box. So right now, Bitcoin just moving sideways. Of course, this wedge is coming, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, see what happens, and see if it can start to break to the upside, take out some of these sell zones, and finally march higher, or if the bears grab control and take out this low back here, and then it can just hit a lot lower potentially. And rounding out the day with natural gas just again bumping its head against this sell zone. It's just wanting to go up, wanting to go up, wanting to go up, but just can't quite do it. That being said, obviously on the daily, Navigator is up, 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 and continuing to rise with good strength. And on the 60-minute, we have crossed as well. So we've crossed the zero line to the upside. So 60-minute bullish, daily bullish. It's but the price is stuck at this sell zone. So it really needs to get into this sell zone with conviction and start working away at it and trying to chip its way into it to get over it. Now, will that be able to happen? It's tough to say. If natural gas's jump lately was due to weather, if that weather subsides, that's kind of all it would take to maybe have the bulls give up and the bears take over. So it's a delicate area, just stuck inside this zone. I personally, being an options guy, I see this as an opportunity maybe to just sell some volatility while it's stuck in this range, something like that. But still, when it finally breaks, it could be quick. It's hard to say. Generally speaking, natural gas is doesn't have these gigantic, shocking moves like we've been seeing lately in the ES or like in crypto. But still, a sudden surprise can happen and it can start to move. So just keep, as I've been saying, keep your stops tight, use sensible risk reward, and take your profits when you have them. But if you are a bull, you've got to get over that. If you're a bear, you got to get below this. So right now, you're just stuck right in the middle of the sandwich, the buy sell zone sandwich. So that is the markets for today. Not much else to say beyond that. Nothing terribly exciting happened. So I will leave it at that. But as always, please do subscribe and leave us comments. Let us know what you think, what you'd like to see. Reminder that next week the format's going to be changing a little bit. We're going to experiment with going 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll see how that goes. But let us know what you think of that or anything else in these videos. We would love to hear from you. We're doing this to help you. So let us know how we can do that better. That's it for now. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and look forward to tomorrow, another trading day. So until tomorrow morning, I'm Jonathan Van Clute for Stock Navigators. Good trading, everybody.